MFA student, creative writing from the lovely city of Hollywood, Florida, which is in South Florida. And I am happy to develop my skills here and hopefully become a great director slash writer. That's something that I always wanted to do since I broke my arm in 2013. I was in a car accident. I was working out a lot, got pumped up, I got to a great weight, broke my arm, couldn't play video games, couldn't work out for a while. So all I did was got the ability to do nothing but like watch movies and TV, and I kind of fell in love with the art. I watched shows like Breaking Bad, Blue Mountain State, The Wire. This is 2013 at the time. I like Game of Thrones. I thought those were incredible. Oz, Band of Brothers, pretty much anything and everything that was on HBO, I loved. And that kind of what got me to going into film. I actually was highly motivated by a lot of artists or directors. One of them is Ryan Coogler, who's about my age. The guy is a guy from whose town, AF. He's from Oakland, and that was something that I was happy to see. That guy was my age. He made a beautiful film called Fruitvale Station. I seen a guy named Damien Chazelle make two of my favorite films of all time. He made a movie called Whiplash, which I thought was amazing because I was a bandy, and I loved it. I found out he wrote it and he directed it. He was my age too, and I was like, geez, I can do something like this. Rick Famuyiwa, who made movies that I love, like Dope, and he made movies like um, Dope, and also The Wood, which is also films that I love. He also did episodes of The Mandalorian. He's worked with Star Wars, and he was going to do the Flash movie, but I'm a little upset about. But that's for another day. Tyler Perry, who wrote screenplays and now has become one of the biggest directors, writers of all time, even though his quality of stuff isn't up to snuff to what I think it is. But he has an audience who loves his niche. Um, so I was a big fan of this book, Mastery. There were three strategies there that I would actually go ahead and go into right now, and I'm going to go ahead and grab my laptop to read out those strategies. So the three strategies was return to your origins, avoid the false path, and let go of the past. Now, I do want to go ahead and tell you this story about how I kind of persevered everything is a long one, and it kind of led me go into Full Sail for my bachelor's degree, which I did get, and I graduated in October, and I got it in digital cinematography. I learned these skills in directing and shooting and lighting and editing, all from going to school for it. And I never thought that I would do something like this. I want to be a creator. I want to put together beautiful forms of art and entertainment. And without my greatest failure, this wouldn't have happened, honestly. What is this great failure? This great failure was something I've done my previous life. About 2012, I was looking for a job. I got a job working for a independent contractor for a big company. Worked my way from being an independent contractor to a full-time employee at this company, a big Fortune 500 company. I worked as a customer service agent, email support, whatever it was. Somewhere that I knew I couldn't be. It was a Latin American Caribbean center. I didn't know a lick of Spanish. I don't know, still don't know a lick of Spanish. But what happened was I worked my butt there. I worked multiple positions. I've done all types of trainings there. I learned all types of I've done all types of trainings there. I did positions. I worked day. I worked night. I worked midday. I did whatever they wanted me to do. It was a job that I enjoyed, but I knew it wasn't something I was going to do for about 30, 40 years, honestly. I had everything. I had a 401k, I had benefits, I had all of this. I had a pension for a little bit before they cut the pension off. A lot of people left because of it. But what happened was I was working out a lot. I got to a very good state of my body physically. I was 240 pounds, and I started to do the overnight shift, and I gained over, I think, 120 pounds. I got to a 360, and I was affected mentally, physically, emotionally. And I cried every day. I had sleep issues. I still got sleep issues now, 3 years later. So what happened was, uh, I was working overnight, and I hated the position. I did it for a year and gained a lot of weight, and I was ready to leave. I was ready. I was only promised to do this for a year. I told them I was ready to leave. They were like, "No, this is business need. You have to work. You have to work this for a year. You have to do this position." I was like, "Okay," and I guess I wasn't needed. So I kept working. I started having some issues with my performance. My performance started lacking off, and then other things started happening too. Like I started falling asleep a little bit overnight, and I started snoring and all of this because this was physically draining to me. And then what happened after that was I got fired by surprise. My greatest failure ever. I worked there for 5 years. I started off making $10 an hour to getting a salary and having all this money. Cried. It was 4 a.m. 4 a.m. at night with tears coming down my eyes, talking to my mom, driving 35 minutes on the highway, um, driving 35 minutes on the highway, and I was in the biggest tears ever. It was my biggest failure. But what happened was, weeks prior, I enrolled into Full Sail for digital cinematography degree because I wanted to learn to create something. I was gonna be a creator regardless, but I chose film because I want to learn the audio and visuals of it. So that was that story. I used that whole year to go to school, and I was um, I was detail oriented, time oriented with myself. I was able to write down a board of everything, from what my goals were, my short term goals were for the day, the week, the month, and the year. I even expanded to 5 years. I still got that board up right now. So that's something that I did when it comes to setting up goals, micro and macro goals for myself. And then I also, wrote down my time. I really focus on time management. Time management is super important for me. I write down how I eat, what I plan on doing during the time if I'm working. I break down the free time I have where I can read, where I can listen to a podcast and learn something, and then also something I can use to work on my craft. So it was always in the SMART goals. Those were my two things. It was always about being goal oriented and time, and always using my time wisely. Um, just a few things that I'm proud of. Um, working from that kid that worked at that call center to where I am now, I'm happy about it because even though I did graduate a few months ago actually, I've gotten the opportunities to do a lot of things. I worked for ESPN. I worked for ABC. I did shorts. I've done commercials. I've done a lot of things in a short matter of time that I'm proud of. That I can tell my kids down the road that your pop, he did this himself. Like he never considered doing that prior to his biggest failure. So thank you for listening to my, I guess, my rant. I appreciate you, and I'm happy to uh, be a part of this class and to make it the best 12 months in my life. Thank you.